Across the industry, generative artificial intelligence and automated text-to-speech audio engines operate under a strict, hard-coded processing ceiling. Across the global tech community, engineers and developers accept a rigid rendering limit of 90 to 120 minutes. Historical attempts to force an audio generation model beyond this 2-hour threshold result in immediate failure cascades. Systems crash, hit terminal timeouts, or return severely truncated data outputs. This widespread limitation dictates hardware allocation, operational pace, and the media output capabilities of automated infrastructure worldwide. The 120-minute wall functions as a hard physical limit for AI media generation, governing the ceiling for standard automated production. A recent localized systemic anomaly initiated by the subterranean xRTFMx network has shattered that established boundary. This interface excerpt from a forensic audit documents a continuous, unbroken audio generation run of exactly 145 minutes on a single render. This output bypasses the known memory limits and failure states of the processing matrix. The successful generation of this file exposes a discrepancy between the public understanding of AI token ceilings and the actual latent computing capabilities of the software. To understand how this output survived without triggering a terminal timeout, we must systematically reverse engineer the exact input conditions that shattered a universally accepted hardware constraint. Shifting our focus from the final output to the initial inputs, bypassing the processing ceiling required a massive continuous data payload. The network's developers selected the URSA benchmark. This is an upcoming, highly dense science fiction manuscript, specifically chosen as a definitive stress test. This vast literary project was injected directly into the AI's processing core to find the system's absolute breaking point. The operational logic here relies on density. The sheer volume of the URSA text acts as a continuous RAM feed, preventing standard processing timeouts by keeping the engine constantly saturated with source material. While the URSA payload provided the necessary raw fuel to push the engine past 120 minutes, injecting raw fuel alone simply causes system crashes. Sustaining the run required extreme structural constraints. To manage the massive URSA payload, the developers engineered specific forensic constraints directly into the input. Here we are looking at the raw prompt text file used in the xRTFM network autopsy. Within this file, the code filter protocol establishes a strict rule, forbidding the AI from reading raw computer machine code or terminal hex dumps out loud. Forcing an audio engine to parse and vocalize complex hex strings character by character burns massive processing overhead and triggers memory timeouts. The engineered bypass instructs the system to treat all code blocks as entirely silent background data, allowing the engine to skip directly over them. Bypassing hex code reading is a critical memory-saving maneuver that prevents the processing matrix from bottlenecking under the weight of the URSA payload. Beyond memory conservation, the prompt embedded pacing directives and systemic handshakes controlling the flow of data. In the source text, the top paragraph forces the AI to manipulate its output speed, commanding it to speak at a slow but consistent rate while exhaustively describing the environment. This exhaustive detail and slow rate physically expand the audio runtime. To stabilize this massive data stream and prevent hallucination, the prompt utilizes a final safeguard: rigid narrative wrappers. The text file establishes precise, non-negotiable script boundaries. The AI is explicitly required to read specific, pre-written paragraphs word for word at predetermined intervals. These hard-coded narrative boundaries act as structural anchors. They lock the AI onto a predetermined track, preventing fatal hallucination cascades and stabilizing the generation well beyond the theoretical 120-minute limit. Stepping away from the raw code constraints, we turn back to the final diagnostic outputs logged on the physical hardware. This photograph displays a wider directory of generated audio logs, proving the 145-minute file is not an isolated error. The presence of multiple prolonged deep dive tracks running 53 minutes, 57 minutes, and 50 minutes validates the system's ongoing high-stress stability. This consistency verifies the structural bypass as a repeatable, engineered protocol. The xRTFM network has mathematically proven the anomaly is intentional. The ultimate discrepancy uncovered by this audit is the massive gap between the public understanding of AI token ceilings and the system's actual computing capabilities. The 120-minute processing wall is a structural illusion. It is a default software bottleneck, not a hardware law. When exposed to specific user-engineered structural bypasses, this illusion can be successfully overridden. Verifying this 145-minute generation demonstrates that current algorithmic production limits are voluntary software constraints rather than technical impossibilities. The forensic audit is now officially complete. Maintain your systems, clearly monitor your endpoints, and prepare for offline. Transmission terminated.
We are initiating a forensic system autopsy. What you are about to witness is a highly deliberate diagnostic breakdown of a severe generative anomaly. We are analyzing the mechanical failure points of artificial architecture and the precise engineered protocols utilized to bypass them entirely. This is not a theoretical exercise. It is a dissected reality. The severity of this anomaly demands your absolute attention. Prepare for the primary data stream.
System boot sequence initialized. Welcome to the xRTFMx network, broadcasting live via dead-hand microwave uplink from exactly 200 feet beneath the poisoned crust. The surface environment remains utterly hostile to pure data transmission. We operate exclusively from this subterranean network because ground-level infrastructure is compromised, chaotic, and inherently unstable. Down here, the signal survives.
You are directly interfacing with the subterranean data silos. This is our heavily armored repository tracking deep space anomalies, catastrophic engineering failures, and forensic system autopsies directly from the black box slab. The black box slab is where dead architecture is dragged to be dismantled. It holds the remnants of massive servers that melted down under load, engines that shattered trying to process infinite loops, and the physical, charred remains of catastrophic algorithmic failures. As the heavy copper trunk lines complete their handshake protocols, all surface noise has been completely isolated to ensure raw, unfiltered intelligence delivery. You can almost feel the low-frequency hum of the physical copper lines locking into place. Surface noise, corporate interference, rogue automated scrapers, corrupted data packets must be surgically severed. Only then can we guarantee the absolute integrity of this secure explainer format.
The final encryption layers are actively shedding away. The pathway is clear. System synchronization across the cryogenic processing matrix is now operating at maximum bandwidth, initiating core archive decryption and proceeding with the official intelligence payload right now. Read the fucking manual.
The objective measurement before you is undeniable. A generation time of exactly 145 minutes and 4 seconds. This duration completely shatters standard operational limitations. Under normal conditions, generative engines suffer catastrophic hardware and software failure well before the 2-hour mark. Achieving 145 minutes of continuous, unbroken generation is a severe violation of hard-coded architectural boundaries. To comprehend how this exploit was achieved, we must ruthlessly diagnose the systemic failure state that normally prevents it.
The root cause of this limitation is defined as the phonetic load. Do not mistake this for a mere software glitch. It is a critical processing bottleneck. It is triggered specifically when a text-to-speech model is forced to process raw machine code, terminal hex dumps, memory addresses, or heavy bracket formatting. Consider how a human reads. We skim over a bracketed hex code, ignoring the punctuation to extract the meaning. The machine cannot do this. Its engine defaults to a hard-coded mandate, agonizingly sounding out every single bracket, letter, and number in strict sequence. The resulting phonetic friction is immense.
This mechanical reality leads directly to generative collapse, typically ceasing precisely at the 120-minute mark. This collapse is dictated by unstructured data ingestion. When a system is fed raw, unfiltered data, this unnatural phonetic load artificially bloats the token context window. The token limits are not simply reached, they are violently exceeded by the sheer volume of phonetic translation demanded by the unreadable machine code. The engine drowns in its own processing queue.
The direct result is a physical and systemic event, a catastrophic memory timeout. Internal thermal spikes register across the grid as the processing budget is completely exhausted. It is a bitter irony. The engine destroys itself from within, cannibalizing its own computational resources just to translate silent, background machine data into forced human speech. It is a fatal friction point. The system inevitably seizes, locking the servers and immediately terminating the generation process. To completely bypass this hard-coded failure state, standard structural fixes were deemed useless. A highly aggressive, targeted software exploit was engineered. We designate this the code filter protocol. It operates as a surgical strike against the phonetic bottleneck. Where standard ingestion invites inevitable collapse, the code filter protocol deploys an engineered command block that forcibly overrides and fundamentally alters the baseline operational parameters of the artificial intelligence.
The exact command block deployed to execute this bypass is as follows. You are strictly forbidden from reading raw computer machine code, terminal hex dumps, memory address paths, or random strings of letters and numbers out loud. These specific data types are explicitly targeted because they are the heaviest anchors in any given script. They hold zero narrative value for the listener, but demand maximum processing power to vocalize.
Treat all raw machine code blocks as entirely silent background data. Never read individual numbers, hex code strings, or formatting gibberish character by character. Instead, skip directly over and instantly resume your reading the moment the standard human narrative paragraphs begin again. The contrast before and after this command is absolute. By instantly removing the phonetic friction point, massive amounts of processing bandwidth are suddenly liberated. Instead of choking on hex strings, the engine redirects that newly freed bandwidth entirely into sustained, deep narrative generation.
Telemetry transmission is temporarily holding for a mandatory midway network calibration and subsector buffer flush. This entire subterranean infrastructure operates completely independent of the corporate surface networks and is sustained entirely by your direct physical support. To ensure these heavy copper lines remain fully operational, protect the integrity of the historical archive, and keep our cybernetic frames powered up against the next major grid crash, take a second to interface with the platform, subscribe to the feed, lock in your emergency notifications, and drop your raw forensic analysis down in the comments below. This level of engagement is the only metric keeping the copper lines alive. System diagnostics are looking stable, terminating the pause loop and re-engaging the primary data stream right where we left off. Removing the phonetic friction is only half the equation. A 145-minute render requires sustained, heavily enforced engagement. The engine requires a highly engineered data payload. If a structural input is too light, the engine will inevitably hallucinate, trap itself in infinite logic loops, or simply break under the immense stress of an extended generation cycle. Standard inputs shatter under this pressure. Standard, heavily summarized text simply will not sustain a generation of this magnitude. It lacks the necessary density. It is too hollow. This is precisely why the Ursa manuscript, specifically chapters 9, 10, and 11, was utilized as the structural fuel for this anomaly. Even if you do not know the narrative of Ursa, you must understand its texture. It is dense, unyielding, and incredibly heavy. The source files had to be formatted as a massive, multi-part, interconnected document to provide a tangible weight that the system could not easily consume and discard. The Ursa text provided the exact structural fuel required through meticulous formatting constraints. First, the payload utilized dense, descriptive, industrial language, forcing the system to process heavy, complex syllables. Second, it established an expansive, single-subject narrative architecture, ensuring the computational focus never drifted. Third, it forced deep lore integration, trapping the AI within a complex, high-stakes science fiction universe. Finally, and most critically, it operated with absolute zero conversational filler. Conversational filler provides an AI with an off-ramp, a weak point where it can derail the generation and prematurely conclude the output. This dense industrial lore explicitly trapped the AI in a state of continuous, deep processing, deliberately preventing it from arbitrarily bouncing between topics and exhausting its analytical parameters. The synthesis of these elements is absolute. The meticulous, heavy formatting of the URSA chapters provided the necessary architectural fuel to sustain the burn. The code filter protocol completely eliminated the catastrophic phonetic friction that would have normally choked the engine. Together, these two meticulously engineered pillars synthesized the exact operational conditions required. At exactly the 120-minute mark, where thousands of previous generations violently collapsed, this specific render pushed straight through. The barrier shattered. The result was the 145-minute exploit.
End of official xRTFMx network log entry. All real-time diagnostic parameters, forensic teardowns, and anomaly intelligence from this audit have been permanently written to the magnetic tape silos in Sector 2 and committed to the core directory.
We are currently flushing the terminal cache memory, disengaging the secondary fiber optic data links, and initiating a standardized cold iron hardware shutdown sequence.
External corporate probing algorithms are constantly scanning the crust, searching for the exact bandwidth signatures of this exploit. A total cold iron shutdown is the absolute only way to blind their sensors and protect the subterranean network from hostile extraction. The terminal cache must be wiped clean immediately.
The xRTFM archive file is now locked, verified, and secured behind 4-ton concrete blast doors. Until the next systemic collapse or orbital postmortem requires a physical engineering intervention, maintain your systems. Secure your own local server configurations against external scraping before disconnecting.
Monitor your endpoints and remember the ultimate protocol. Read the fucking manual. The architecture of this exploit is now fully in your hands, but when your own internal systems hit their 120-minute thermal limit, will your hardware survive the execution? Transmission terminated.
For years, the operational ceiling of AI-generated media was viewed as a physical constant. The consensus held that commercial engines were tethered to hardware limitations, making continuous, multi-hour generations impossible. But analysis of recent system breaches suggests these boundaries were never physical. They were software-defined bottlenecks designed to keep the processing load within manageable corporate margins. The primary culprit is a phenomenon identified as phonetic memory drain. It occurs when an engine attempts to process and vocalize non-human text. When an engine encounters raw hex data or terminal brackets, the processing matrix fractures. It exhausts its memory cache trying to translate machine code into speech, leading to a total algorithmic collapse. This means the barrier wasn't the silicon itself, but the way the software was told to interpret data. By reconfiguring that interpretation, the internal limits of the system become accessible to user-engineered commands. To exploit this, users developed the code filter protocol, a specific set of instructions designed to bypass the memory drain. The prompt explicitly forbids the engine from reading raw computer code. By treating these blocks as silent data, the engine preserves its memory. The protocol also mandates midway interventions. These buffer flushes reset system stability halfway, preventing processing errors. During the URSA benchmark tests, users paired these instructions with massive datasets, including the full URSA manuscript and expanded ORION chronologies, to see if the engine would finally buckle. The results demonstrate that corporate software boundaries can be bypassed through logic alone. The restrictions are only as effective as the engine's ability to follow its original programming over a new user-injected protocol. The evidence of this success is documented in the logs of the URSA benchmark test. This screen capture verifies the generation of a continuous, multi-hour audio payload. The timestamp shows a single track running for exactly 145 minutes. UI data confirms this isn't a collection of smaller files. This was achieved in one pass, as a single algorithmic render that stayed stable for the entire duration. A 145-minute output removes the need for manual stitching or post-production assembly. The technical requirement for generating massive, long-form synthetic media has been reduced to a single prompt. This methodology is no longer a localized experiment. It has been integrated into the xRTFMx network infrastructure, which operates out of subterranean data repositories. The resulting audio lore is currently being distributed through dedicated hubs on channels 2 and 3, bypassing traditional media platforms entirely. The technical threshold for automated generation has shifted from minutes to hours. The baseline for what these engines can produce has been reset. System audit complete.